Kia ora, dear listener or viewer. Welcome to Zealand. Now, Zealand is set in a post-apocalyptic world, so it goes without saying that we will be exploring some of the darker natures of humanity. So if you're squeamish or the idea unsettles you, take your chance now to walk away. For now, we return to Zealand.
Kia ora, guys, gals, and legionnaires. Rycon here, and welcome back to Zealand. This is Chapter 4, Part 4, Eye for an Eye. Right off the bat, you get a free sigil for sticking with that thing for as long as you have, and the new eye is marvellous. Well done. It's a nice look. We don't know if it'll be sticking around in game. In the previous session...
it's sticking around.
In the previous session, we had a continuation of things. We had more knowledge gained, but we also had some risque encounters. And
Sexy bats.
Yes, and now all four of us, fivers that are present here with us today, are incapacitated in one way or another. Jake and Nick, they're doing fine. For the most part, maybe a bit more mentally scarred after the day. But there is a injured Dan who has managed to bandage up his wrist and spent a very frightening night up the top in Skulk's hut, huddling.
Half of that's the hut itself.
And just looking at the small little gaps of light that you can see through the window, just hoping that nothing's going to come fluttering through there. But you do hear them kind of fluttering around your light outside until eventually that light seems to dim and then lose power altogether. Eventually the sound of activity, the fluttering, the flapping, moves on. And you're left there, cradling your wrist up against you, feeling that sharp pain on your back. You've done all you can to treat them, finding an old bottle of booze that Skulk had up here to treat the wound, hoping that getting on there fast enough might have killed anything off or stopped the spread. You don't know. And so you're left there thinking as the night passes on by. Finally, when day is here, work up the courage to make it back. You can unlock the door from inside, and you do, electing to do that rather than clamber in through the window, and you make your way back down inside.
I probably fall through the trap door since I now don't really have arms.
Yeah, pretty much. You pretty much fall down into there, and Jake, having realised in the morning that you didn't come back, wasn't sure originally, rushes and and activity happens, and you get brought down to the very, very full sick bay.
What the fuck happened to you?
You see him getting pushed through into the room that's adjacent to you currently.
Bats.
Yeah, fuck them.
Treatment begins. It's clear to you as you come in that your Russian friend still isn't around. Ismail is not around.
I also just realised that glass is going to hurt when it comes out. It's all crusted over from the night.
Yep. There's a lot of pain. There is a lot of pain. window pane. The worst kind.
Yes.
Thank you. You set that one up for me. No sigils, though.
Took you 4 episodes, but you got a good pun.
We got one. Took a speciality in it. Don't often get to use it. Scott, you come to in the morning. Still in your equipment. Jen is there beside you. Just kind of nestled up against you.
How's it?
Not funny. Are you feeling any better this morning?
A little bit, still a bit weak and got a bit of a headache.
I know you don't often like it, but would you like some coffee? We've still got some stashed away.
No, I'm good.
All right. I'm gonna go make some tea.
I'll stretch my legs.
The legs have... Well, you stretch your leg and you stretch your thigh.
Yeah.
Your thigh and leg, you stretch. Skulk. You slowly start to awake. Seeing inside the... what's Scott's eye? Yeah. Seeing the roof of one of the interior rooms, not your own. And it's a feeling that you've woken up to before. A feeling of there being an absence. And it doesn't take a look down to realize that, yep, yesterday happened.
Is everybody in the room with me?
Currently, no. Your door is closed.
Is there any crutches or anything in the room here?
Up against one of the inside walls, there are 2 that are set up against it. There's a chair slightly adjacent to them.
I try really very slowly
Yeah.
and gently and take my time and make my way over to a crutch. I can only really use one.
Yeah, you... Bad arm, good arm.
Yeah, only arm.
Yeah, you prop yourself up, put your leg down, steady yourself, and you look down and it's not there. And you pull yourself up, bracing yourself against the wall, and hop a time at a time, using the wall to kind of brace you over towards where the crutches are. Get your arm into it on this side and try as best you can maneuver. You might even be able to get the other one in slightly, but it's going to be uncomfortable as hell. But you manage to have that to kind of stabilize yourself as you can step out a bit and use that crutch to just move forward towards the door. And as you do, and you reach out with your hand and try and open it, it's locked.
Okay, I just knock.
You hear it open. Very kind of fatigued looking Frank opens the door. How you doing?
Where's my leg?
I think it's still over there. We haven't been back outside. One of the new guys went out last night. Got messed up.
Sure.
We had Nick take a look around. Can't see any, but it doesn't mean that they're not here.
Anything to eat?
Yeah, there is. You're clear as far as I'm concerned. But take it easy.
Alright.
He unlocks the other door, lets you through. Just holler if there's any trouble. You close the door, he closes the door. You make your way out into the hallway, and both the doors are open. You see on one side Vedant, on the other side Dan.
Morning.
We're awake.
You're awake, yeah. I mean, you were brought here in the morning. You haven't been here for too long. Jake's in the hallway as well, having brought him down here.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee.
I wouldn't mind some coffee.
Think about it.
If I had a spare hand. And I keep going.
You and Scott really are trying.
And I'm winning.
Yeah. All right, let's go. You make your way downstairs to breakfast.
That fucker helps me downstairs at breakfast.
He does. He does help you. But he waits. He waits for you to ask for help. When you get to the stair and you're like...
I'm like, yeah.
All right, and he picks you up caressingly. No, he helps you down the stairs. And he's just
got
like...
carry
I have
specialization.
a speciality in carrying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just into your ear. You make it down to breakfast. You have something. Some's brought up to you, and to you as well. Scott, you're down there. Eventually at breakfast. Takes you a little bit, but you're still geared up and ready to go. And as far as you can tell, the general consensus is staying contained. You have food inside here for now. There's no telling if those things are still around. They could be. Nick's been scouting as best he can and carefully peering at the top, seeing what's out there. Doesn't seem like they're around at the moment, but that could change in an instant, so at least for the day, you're contained.
Yeah, I also make sure that people know that, at night, the moment I was clear outside, the silence parted and they all descended down upon me. And so night is, even if it seemed clear, people better be careful.
Right, well then, let's wait and recover, and hopefully they'll go away.
That waiting happens. While you are...
Could I just say something as well? Because the thing is, the only two people in the base that are like will be completely covered from them would be Jake and Nick, because they are completely covered in heavy armor,
Yes.
firefighting gear.
Yes, they have that. They don't have that on them currently, but yeah, they can go outside to check.
I would also, in that first morning, either call up to him or get someone, see if get Nick to come pop in and just ask him when he's outside having a look, if he can look.
You know that having tried to leave, you haven't been allowed to.
Okay.
You've been told to stay in. Like
all
Frank's
this checking
keeping,
has been done from
yeah.
inside pretty much.
Yeah, Frank's kept you both inside, and when you've called for Nick, he's gone on. Called for him to be.
Sorry, I'm being kept inside.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no,
You neither you or Vedant have been able to leave your rooms yet.
yeah. Let's see. If you go outside to check and see if those bats are still around, if you could look towards your catches to the southeast, if you do end up going outside of the walls and anytime soon, towards where those gunshots were, just in case there's a sign that maybe it was Auckland.
Yeah. Nah, we're not. But if we do, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, definitely don't put yourself out for it. Just if you're there for something.
All right.
And someone should let Scott know his cabin's gonna need a bit of a clean.
Oh.
I had to hide from the bats in it.
Oh.
And
Okay.
He locks that door.
Yeah, it's on the outside. You can climb up to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you can send them to me if you want.
Yeah, that
For me
sounds
to
that
tell
sounds like a good idea. I'll do that. And you see him mosey on out. As the day continues, he doesn't come to get you. He doesn't tell you anything about that. Staying well clear of that. As the day continues, outside, you're all aware that you can hear just like these little. Oh my god!
Finally happened. I was wondering when that was gonna backfire on you.
Finally broken. You hear
Everyone's broken now.
a very strange yes. Grievous wound to my throat. You hear that sound. The one you just heard before, the one that I made, and will not be repeating. You hear that kind of wailing throughout the day. It's not aggressive, it's just slow and
How far away does it sound?
some of them sound close. Some of it sounds like it's coming from above you. But it's quiet. And while moving over towards the windows and very cautiously peering out, it becomes clear that some of them are ones that were outside, ones that had been hit and killed, but not entirely killed. Just slowly trying to pull themselves along the pavement. In no seeming direction, some of them just seem to be kind of going around in circles. You can see it from just like the small trail of kind of drying blood that's been left by them. Eventually, as the day goes on, passes, comes to night again. You don't hear any activity during the night. It's more of a sound sleep. When morning comes round again, Nick and Jake don all their gear, go out into the cage airlock. I'm going to call it an airlock, but it's not like an airlock. It's not airtight. They go outside and they go to work. When they come back in, they don't report seeing any others. They did climb up to the top. There were some up there as well. Seemingly, these were all the ones that were injured. There were some that were just straight up dead, ones that had been crushed. In the Discovery Center, the one that he stomped down on was completely dead, but there were some others that were kind of...
Would they have said that we're going now to go do a bit?
Yeah.
I would have asked them to get my leg.
Oh, okay.
I want my leg.
Jake could just be... just like not inside though.
Yeah, just leave it on the roof. I'll get it later.
Alright. I mean, it's been with you for how many years? I guess you're entitled to it. Alright. Yeah. They retrieve your leg. Thankfully, being sealed in the Discovery Center, there wasn't anything that could actually get to it and try and eat it. So that's a bonus.
Is the leg now alive?
Yeah, they just like hopping around.
Undead leg.
That's my metal band. They return, and having said they've taken out a number of these living dead, lifeless bats. They don't report seeing any others, but with everyone being how they are, you stay inside for longer. After a few days have passed of being stuck inside, it starts to get a little stuffy, but it's deemed that things seem safe enough. Light activity is allowed back outside again, but There's always someone looking out, making sure that you're safe. You do see some flocks of birds traveling overhead, much, much higher up, and in groups. Almost like they're migrating, but not in these.
With Jacob up and about, do either of us get moved into the locked quarantine ward?
Both of you do. Yeah. You're essentially in there all the time.
Is Jonah still in there as well? Or is he...
Jonah is in one of the rooms.
Yeah, what happened to him?
He's still in there.
No. After how many days?
It's been 2 days. But no one's been in to see him.
Not even Lulu?
You've been in one. Well, no, Lulu. I'm talking about none of you guys have been in to see him, so you don't know what's happening in that capacity. But you have been deemed to be a little bit more at risk.
Yep.
You've been brought inside. You're still kept in the outside room where Frank is nearly always in the doorway.
Has Jen told me about Jonah?
She hasn't been in to see Jonah either.
Okay.
The only people that have been caring for Jonah are Nick and Willow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I reckon
but you haven't heard anything at this stage.
I reckon if Frank's been sort of just been there watching me the entire time, I would have eventually struck up multiple conversations that weren't, tasteless jokes.
Okay.
Just actually have a conversation with him, trying to get to know him a bit better, and that sort of a thing.
All right. You find out that he served in the military for a little while, in a small capacity. He didn't have family before this. That he found their group on the boats relatively early on and had been traveling with them since. That they lost a lot of good people along the way. That what they have now is only a small fraction of what they had, 5 years ago. But that he's surprised that we've all made it as long as we have. That it's not over yet, but yesterday started making things seem like that was going to be the case. It had just taken longer for them.
Yeah, I would sort of effectively start swapping stories with him at this point, where, like, when he talks about being in the military, I go, well, haven't been in the military, not as badass as that, but when this thing started, the police station in the city was the only place I could hide out. I was trained by the guys there, good people, sort of just form a connection.
I knew a good man, Kevin. He used to call the shots. He didn't make it off Little Barrier. But he was a cop, and he was a good one. Roll intuition for me.
Intuition. Oh, failed by 2. Yeah, 32. Failed by 2.
Alright. Nothing to it.
Yeah, cops have a way of sort of instilling camaraderie.
What happened to your group? Your cops?
We had to leave the police station eventually. Or supplies were running short. Going out into the city was getting tougher and tougher. We were losing people. There was a radio that I tried to get in touch with people through. And eventually we heard from someone. Said that there was that Mount Eden, Eden Park, was a settlement, a safe haven of sorts, where they pretty much built up civilization to an extent. We planned for weeks to get that operation sorted. There were guys that, having no experience with cars before, fixed up a bloody bus. People really came together on that one. When we got there, the evil little prick that runs the place decided that the old authority was a threat. Shot me right in the chest, and I'll show him the bullet wound. And I didn't throw him into a sea of undead, thinking that he would save my guys, thinking that he would keep them from succumbing to that fate. There is a bullet in my chamber at all times with his name on it. And I will deliver it to him if it's the last thing I do.
Let's hope you get out this bed then.
Yep.
Give you some time. He walks out for a little bit. Scott, roll intuition for me. Skulk, roll intuition for me as well. You've been moving around.
Failed by heaps.
Pass 23.
You've been able to tell that in the last, not the day before, but the last day, the day that you're in it now, that you're moving through currently, you've noticed a shift in Frank and Willow. I mean, she's been making sure, and she's been checking your bandages and all the rest, and you go over towards the medical wing to be able to do that, and when Frank's there on guard, you've noticed a shift in the two of them. There's something there, and especially in Willow, you can see that something's really troubling her. Something that you've noticed while you've been kind of close, and while she's been checking over things and making sure that there's no infection, and making sure that you're taking your antibiotics, that you're making sure that your pain management is at a good level.
I'll ask her straight out when she doesn't, and when Frank's not that close. What do you say?
Yeah.
What's going on between you and Frank?
It's not Frank, but I know it's got to Frank too. We don't want to get people panicking, but Jonah's going downhill.
The plague, or just the injuries, and he's old?
Ever since his heart attack, he's been still the same strong self, but he's been frailer. I talked to him, and he promised me that you won't tell anyone, but I don't think he thought that he was going to make it back in here. But he has been feverish, and Lula knows she's been with him.
Is that a normal fever or the fever.
It doesn't look good. He had a number of wounds. Some of them deep. I cleaned them as best I could, just like everyone else. We got the others on watch. Frank's been close by at all times. He's barely slept. We know it's something that everyone needs to know, but I think Lulu's holding out for hope. But I don't think there's any there this time. I'll be honest, I didn't think there was a shot with that girl. And I don't think there's a shot with him.
How long do you think?
I haven't seen it myself. I haven't... Usually people don't get away. And when they do, sometimes they're lucky. If the fever keeps going, could be another day, maybe more. But eventually that fever's gonna break. And after that, it's a coin toss. Either he comes back, or he just wakes up again like normal. I was talking to Nick. He said it's the sleep. It's after that.
Well, we'll just have to keep an eye on him.
We will. We will. We're going to give it another day. If things don't change either way, we're going to have to let everyone else know. There's just a lot going on right now. I need people to recover. That's all done. You're looking fine there.
Thanks.
Okay. And she leaves you.
I go find Jake. I just ask him to help me get onto the roof so I can go clean my shack.
Yeah, okay.
You don't know there's anything wrong with your shack.
Just...
All right, I don't know. I just then I.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh,
Well, then I make up some excuse to go to look at my shack
to get space.
to get space.
Yeah.
Just need some
Effectively,
fresh air.
I know you're wanting to talk to Jake, yeah. So you're like, can get a look out. Okay.
I suppose
Okay.
you know I did spend the night on the roof, so...
Yeah, so I will need one check, but also just I can talk to Pigeon.
He just like hands over an RT to Poe. Just give me a call if there's any trouble. Alright? Let's go, Ben.
All right.
Helps you up. Steer across.
No, he has to climb up first, so he can like pull me up.
Yeah, he's doing the push up.
Yeah.
And knocking the thing to the side and climbing up on top. Has a good look around. Here, we're good. Climbs up. Come on. Right. Helps you up on top. What's the real reason? Or did you just want my help?
Yeah, no, legitimately, I can't climb up with like one leg and one arm. I mean, like
Okay.
maybe two arms or two legs, but
All right.
I'm
Yeah.
properly crippled.
No.
This was it.
Yeah, just generally when you ask for help, there's something else there. Maybe I'm reading between the lines.
I mean, if you can guys can give me like a pig leg or something, that'll be fine. But until then, I do need
I
to.
don't know, it's a big ask. I'm sure.
Until then, I'll need a chauffeur.
I'm your guy.
Thanks,
Just call
mate.
me Hodor.
Thanks, Hodor.
All right,
I'll RT if I need something, mate.
okay. Did you get a break-in?
I wonder who this could be.
You see fur
Yeah,
stuffed in the
and
window.
like blood and I don't know, a big dent in my door. I'm like,
Bloody dead.
a bloody dent in my door. Must have been down last couple of nights ago.
Yeah, there's blood like by the door. That's pulled up a bit.
I'll see what he did to it. Might just. I look at the thing. I might just need a window painted next time someone goes out shopping. Or if you think we got one in the stockroom?
Yeah, I think we might have seen some. Me and Poe will have a look for supplies.
Thanks, mate.
So yeah, probably. Let's see what we can do. I'll hang around up here for now.
All good.
I'm gonna have a look. Mind if I use that
What?
telescope?
Off you go. Just have a look off to the north. Hang on. Not to the west.
To the west, up the coast.
Yeah. I mean,
Alright.
just before all this shit happened, Charles said he saw the fire creeping closer.
Okay.
I know, I mean, like, it's been ages, but I don't know, there was the implication it might have been new fires being set. And to see if Auckland or the Russians aren't dicking about.
Okay. You
Arsing
take the
around.
spot out. As you go and unlock your place, and you can see the
And I lock it behind me.
shattered inside. Your undisclosed animal head that was on the wall has knocked off. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure it was a boar's head, but it's not something that you killed. It's just something that you got from
A
one of
house.
the houses that's
Yeah,
around here.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's been knocked off and it's on its side. Boris the boar.
Boris the Boar.
We're building lore here, man.
Boris.
You see that the equipment is laid bare, naked.
I hide it somewhere else, like under the chair. There's a chair there, isn't there?
There it is. Let's have a look. Boom, 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 boom. Welcome to MTV Cribs. My name is Skulk.
And pimp my shack.
Oh, by the way, just out the front of your door, your leg was on the ground.
I said, I go, thanks, mate.
Yeah, all right. That just,
Yeah.
I don't know where you put a leg.
Let's go.
You just kick it inside.
Yeah, you use a crutch and you just like
Yeah.
inch it in. Thanks, mate.
So, having a look inside your humble abode, over here we have the couch.
Yeah, I
Over
hide it
here.
underneath the couch.
Oh, underneath the couch.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
like I'll for the day I'll like work at just get like with my knife just ripping out the back of the couch.
Oh, yeah. You pull out the thing. Far out, next level. Okay, cool.
Just like this, on the edges of the couch, just cutting it there so I can put it in there.
Okay.
And I'll set it up.
Yeah.
It'll take me the rest of the day, but I'll set it up in
Yep.
there
Okay.
so I can work it from there.
Yep. All right. You do it. You
That'll be
work
that'll
around
be
it.
me for the day.
Yeah, you're feeling pretty numbed out as
Yeah.
well. Like the painkillers have been pretty good. They're keeping you, under control as you just work your way through it, and that keeps you occupied for the rest of the day.
How much of his setup come daylight would I have noticed?
Inside of there,
Yeah.
a fair amount. Would have looked like a whole heap of. It would look like a pretty decent radio setup kit with like headphones, with a little microphone. Kind of like a ham radio, but like a little bit bigger. Yeah. The day continues. On to the evening and dinner. And Scott, you notice that something's off at dinner. Doesn't take two eyes to see that. Something's not right. Obviously, there's been a whole heap of crap that's been going on. Verdant and Dan, they aren't here. They're being kept downstairs. They're being monitored. You haven't seen Jonah in days. You also haven't seen a lot of Lulu either. She's not here now. And you can see the table is... Well, for the most part, there are some that are still trying to get along and they're doing their thing, but there is still something there. And it's more noticeable between Willow. Frank's not up here either. He pops up, gets some food, goes straight back downstairs. But you know, you're starting to get the intuition, the feel that something's up.
Okay, well, now that I'm kind of out of bed, after dinner I'll probably go see Joe.
Okay.
Because originally I asked to get updated, but no one's visited him, so
Well, no one's come to see you about it.
Mm.
And no one here has gone to see him. You make your way downstairs. Frank's sitting out the front, eating dinner. Hey,
yeah. How's he going?
which one?
Who's in there currently?
Outside, so I will show you. Whoop, 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 whoop. Over here you have Verdant. Over here you have Dan.
Yeah.
In this room. Oh no, hang on. No, sorry. I lie. It's Verdant that's out here. It's Dan that's inside. You're inside quarantine. And Jonah is always in this room here. On this side. No one's in this one currently.
I would say the two in containment.
Verdant? It's Verdant, right?
Yep. Oh wait, no, I'm not there, right?
No, sorry, no, it's Dan. Sorry, it's Dan. Yeah, no, you're there. You're there. You can hear. Dan, right? He's doing okay. But he got stung pretty bad. Look, there's no easy way to there's no easy way to say this, but Jonah's not looking good. A fever's been hitting him. He's been in and out of it. He didn't want you or Jen to know. He didn't want you to feel responsible. Didn't want Skulk to know either. We were going to have to tell you eventually. Did you want to see him?
If he's conscious.
He was up before. I brought him in some food. Lulu's in there with him. Alright. Gets up. Opens the door. Unlocks it. Takes you through the next one. Unlocks it. You see him lock the internal door and just kind of wait in the gap in between.
Can I knock?
Come in.
Yeah, open.
It's dim in here. curtains are drawn right across. A little bit of light in there, and you can see Lulu sitting next to Jonah's bed, and she's just got his hand in her hand. You can just hear kind of laboured breathing.
How's our patient doing?
I can speak for myself. Pretty shit. And I want you feeling sorry for me. How are the others?
All pretty rough, but I think we'll come through.
We always do. I think my ticket's finally been punched. Haven't felt something like this before. I think the fever's running out. I know what that means.
What do you want to do?
I don't want fanfare. If I'm feeling good by tonight, I don't want to risk it. Can't risk it. Because even though I'm old, there's still strength in these arms. Some of it. And I don't want that. Using it. Just, do me a favour, if you would.
Sure.
Lulu's gonna have a hard time taking care of the young ones. Watch out for her. I'll be fine. Watch out for her.
Oh well. I'll watch all of them.
I know. And,
I'd say I'll have an eye on them. I'll keep an eye on them.
you can promise that. I tell you what.
Kind of reaches across and points to the corner of the room. There's a rifle that's up against the wall.
That golden boy of yours. The blazing redhead. The reason I met you folk in the start was because of him. He's not a half bad shot. See that he gets that.
Will do.
And, I'd like to have a last word to, the young ones. You could get Elsa, Liv. Jin too. Like to talk to them all. Alright. Go on.
Just say it's been a pleasure knowing you. Surely the toughest old man I've met in the apocalypse.
Had a hell of a run. Alright.
It's been good. I'll send them in. I grab the rifle
Alright.
and I kind of give a nod to Lulu and then walk towards the door.
Alright. Frank lets you out. You're able to find Nick and the others easily enough. You pass it on to Nick and...
A gift from the old man.
Fuck. Alright. That bad?
It's not looking good for him.
Alright. Thanks.
I head up to the living area
Yep.
where where the girls are.
Yep.
Liv and Elsa. And I go tell them that, Jonah wants to speak with them.
Okay. They head downstairs and they're there for a while.
I also after I leave them there, I go grab Jen and I go down with her to the...
Okay. Jonah tries to impart wisdom where he can, and they share jokes and...
Oh yeah, when Jen goes in, I don't go in with her.
Oh, okay.
I
All
just stand outside with
You
Frank.
hear a little bit of laughter, and eventually she comes out, red eyes, and...
I just kind of put an arm around her and give her a big hug. Then kind of nod to Frank to open the door and kind of just, with my arm still around her, just walk out with her.
Yeah. You start walking down the hallway. Eventually, you're called for. This is like much later in the day. Most of your project is complete at that point.
Had a good few years yarning with you.
Wasn't too bad.
And I got no regrets.
So how do you want to go?
Quietly. Doesn't need to be with a bang. I've talked with Willow. I'm feeling okay. But I know how this is.
Well, she has experience.
Yeah. I hate to do it to her. I know you won't. But just in case there's anything there, don't feel guilty in any way. You did the right thing running away. Not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, well, it did cost me.
It did. Could have cost us a lot more. You got a good brain. Keep these folks alive.
Gives you a stiff nod and reaches out his hand.
You give him a good check. Yeah, right.
Yes there. It's just figuring it out in my mind. Eventually others go in to visit him, say their final words. Eventually, the hour is there. People know, but they keep their distance. They give Lulu and Jonah their space, and the hour comes and passes. And so too just Jonah. The morning afterwards, when the sun rises, a somber breakfast is had, and word is spread round to everyone else what's transpired. Jake, Frank, Poe, Willie start digging a grave outside. Just outside the walls where your small graveyard is. Around the back that looks over the sea. It's a lot of hard work, but they get there in the end. They even managed to whack together something of a coffin. It's ramshackled and it's been put together, roughly, but it's something, and everyone's brought out. Even the two of you. Frank's close by, keeping a watch on you both. And Jonah is put to rest in the ground. There is still a fear among many there, looking up into the trees towards the sky. But nothing comes. Not today. And some words ahead. Jake and Nick say a piece. Dirt's slowly shifted on top. Lulu starts to sing softly and holds the two kids close. Eventually, after the casket is covered, a small cross is raised up with Jonah's name stenciled on it. And eventually, one by one, everyone leaves, returning back to the walls. The only person who wasn't present for this funeral is a person who's remained on the upper level at all times and has been under close watch. It's Mikhail. the other Russian, who, to the surprise of many, is seemingly slowly recovering. However, he seems to be in a constant sickly state. He has a bit more strength than he has in past days, but he still doesn't seem to have a lot of life left to him. He is a small man, mousy almost, with hair that kind of fringes out on the sides. Just small little patches of stubble. Very, very fair hair. With his hand tightly bandaged together, he spent his time on the upper levels, keeping to himself, not speaking, but just reading. Eventually, there is only Lulu. And the day continues. You start to recover, try to recover, resting where you can, and trying to get activity back in other parts. Locomotion for you has been difficult, but a basic peg leg has been constructed. Both Willie and Poe have been working on something. It is pretty basic to start with. It is more of a peg leg than anything.
No, as long as
But
good
with
weight on
some
it.
cushioning, yeah, it distributes well enough. That thing will probably slip around a little bit if you're trying to run or around lino, but
I'll keep the crutch as well.
yeah.
I will actually, because it's the right leg that you've lost, right? I will actually volunteer to switch for the peg leg because I've actually got a full leg. So if you want the actual prosthetic, I'll be fine to.
No, I'm
hand that
good
over
with
to
the
you.
pig, mate. I'm good with the pig.
If you're sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Guess I get to keep a leg then. Got a leg up in this world.
You do. You do. This recovery continues. The gunfire that was heard in previous days hasn't been heard since. The smoke that was on the horizon seemingly is no more. The blaze that was there is either still going but just not visible. But the ones that were closer, the ones that were described by Charles, haven't been seen since. You still do go out for your morning fishing sessions with Charles, and you haven't noticed anything of the sorts. There are still flocks of birds that travel overhead, but you haven't seen another grouping of bats.
Have we been de-quarantined effectively, or are we still under quarantine this entire time?
After a few more days, when a fever doesn't set in, you are both cleared. You are still recovering, but you are cleared at the very least.
I will offer to take watches up top with my rifle in case anything's needed. That's my question. Is my rifle still there? My big one?
Your big one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. It hasn't gone missing.
Because that was like, I wrote that up when the Russian ran away. I wrote that on the back of my bloody gun.
Well, hey, it would be what you get for leaving it in the freaking lounge.
Loaded weapons when there's kids around. I mean, come on. That's literally the level that kids are on.
I was farming. I wasn't going to carry a sniper rifle while I was farming.
You just got a 360 no-scope those crops.
It's apocalypse, you should always be ready.
Eventually, after a few more days have passed, the harvest does actually happen outside, and you can hear a tractor roaring into life, and more activity is happening outside. But it's a lot of the others that are putting in a lot more of the hard work at this stage, while all of you are still recovering in some capacity. There will be more days like this as it continues
some
on.
point in time as well, I'm doing some light projects in my workshop.
I see.
And I'll do some on the roof.
Projects aplenty.
And were there unused storage / bedrooms downstairs, or are they all pretty full?
Some of those, well, that's the thing, is like some of them were going to be turned back into bedrooms when you arrived, and that process is still happening. So yeah, some of them are being cleared out, so there will be bedrooms down there, but... Okay.
I'll just be lending a hand wherever I can when I'm not on watch.
Alright.
And when I've got any free time at all, I'll be going back to the earlier parts of my journal with the instructions on how to craft ammo.
Yep.
And I'm going to see if I can reproduce anything from my learnings way back when.
Alright. It's a bit of a process, but it's something that you start undertaking, just reading through that when you're in the lounge sometime. And while that's happening, you do see Lulu kind of catches it over your shoulder.
It's interesting.
Yeah. The guy who taught it to me was even more interesting.
I think I might be able to help you with that.
Yeah, I'd love some help.
And that might in part help me.
Anything to keep you distracted, I guess. I'll try not to be too talkative. I tend to talk in times of... Well...
I can tell.
Yeah.
It is fine. I'll do the talking. Come down to my lab.
I'll follow it down to...
She walks you down to one of the other buildings and starts you run you through some processes. And atop, in the sugar shack, Boris the Boar has been placed back up on the wall. Took you a very long time to do, but you did it with just your crutch and lots of leaning. You got there. But no, most importantly, after the funeral day, you've been able to return back up to the bionic couch, pulling it away from the
couch. That is
Rebuild it.
pulling it away from the wall. You move back to your equipment, putting your headphones on, engaging. Talking to Pigeon.
Yeah.
This is late at night as well, which
Of
is
course,
when you
yeah,
tend
yeah.
to do it.
Same time as always, and I would tell her everything that happened.
You start to unload the lot. She does share that they have had similar experiences, but it was much earlier on that they haven't been encountering as many lively animals. The island was purified, in a sense. Do you press for any information? Or are you just giving?
If she's willing to share, I'll, ask like follow-up questions, like, what they did to purify the island.
It was a chemical agent.
That yellow stuff.
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know exactly what it is, but I know what it does. And it's not good for anything living.
No, I saw that firsthand.
Even something dead. It corrodes. It kills.
How much of the stuff do you still have? Or can you still make it?
They can still make it.
On the island?
I'm nodding. There's a pause. I should just cover up my face when I'm talking to you like this. Make it really interesting for the audience. Have you heard anything? Have you had any troubles from Marsden Point?
No, it looks like the fire's going out. We saw some closer fires.
We've
They've
been
gone out.
We've been doing what we can with the fire. We have a team there now.
How much of that place is salvageable?
It's tough to say. I think some, but it's not going to be at the capacity it was. It's got some people very angry.
But you're going to refine the fuel? At least some?
I haven't heard yet. And the mood hasn't changed, so it's seeming no.
What are you going to do with that fuel?
I don't know. She just goes like really quiet there. I'm worried what it will do if we don't have that.
Can you get off the island?
We can, but they're gonna want more of it.
I'm guessing they're going to go to Auckland for that.
They're gonna go wherever they can.
Have you heard anything from Auckland? We haven't seen anything about them since we saw them at Marsden.
There's no new intelligence. We don't understand the attack yet. But it's not good. That's the only refinery. We don't have the manpower to rebuild something like that. And if we have to run with what's left, it makes me worried how far they will go.
Do what?
To get it.
And if they can't get it? I mean, eventually any fuel's going to run out. Even crude oil will run out.
That's why they were refining. That's where they were refining. There was still more being brought in. There's a two-way pipeline.
Where was it coming from?
Southwest. Taranaki, off the coast. There are oil fields.
You got guys out down there?
We do. We weren't expecting another party to be involved. We've been trying to keep supply lines open. You'll notice, actually, roll intuition for me. Because you've had so many conversations, this is going to be a plus 20.
36 pass.
Okay. You notice that throughout most of that conversation, she was saying they. She hasn't said that before.
When talking about
When
them.
talking about the others, yeah. She was saying they. Most of the time she's been saying we. She's just switched back to saying we now when she's been talking about the supply line and the people in Taranaki. Off the coast of Taranaki. Just something worth noting. I know it's the same as always, but try and keep a low profile.
Yeah, we'll try.
We've been talking for a long time. I'm Kate.
She said her name before.
Has she said her name to you before?
Yeah, in the 5-year time skip.
Oh, then you know her name. That's sweet. You know her name. No biggie. That's fine. Okay, no, she still says that. I'm Kate. maybe we could just go to that for now. No rats and pigeons.
We don't know who else is listening. Especially since I picked up Auckland on this radio.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I say over and out, and I turn the thing off.
It goes quiet. Put the bionic couch back. Lay back on it, resting your leg. It's sore, even with the painkillers. It's going to take time to get that feeling good. Pig leg, it's not bad. But, well, there'd be ways to make it better. And that might just happen in the days to come. For now, things seem to be slipping back into a calm state. But there's no telling how long that calmness is going to last. It could just race back up to 100 tomorrow, or this evening, or in 5 minutes from now. You don't know. Earthquakes even. But for now, at the very least, you have a time to rest. There's a time for others to mourn. There's a time to recover. And as Mikhail sits and flips through the library, and as Livia, outside the walls, is pushing a tractor along, with Charles trying to guide her and keeping her on the line, and everyone else goes about their days. Scott, you walking outside with Jen, taking a walk down to Lulu's garden. You standing over a number of different chemistry books with Lulu, as with enthusiasm and many hands gestures she starts to explain different chemical processes, and most of it's not making a lick of sense to you, but she seems to be in the moment. And
funnily enough, a fair bit of it will make sense to me.
Okay, there you go. Actually, no, it would. Yeah, no, you're catching on. Some of it's a little out there, but yeah.
It's not just the thing I've done. I studied for an advanced engineering course way back when, so
there you go. So you're kicking along with this, and you're enjoying it. You're enjoying it as it.
Now I'm enjoying it. Back then I didn't.
Yeah. Dan, walking through the hallways, you catch a moment where Jake seems to be talking to the stomach of a lady. Aroha's standing in the room with him, and he's just speaking into her stomach and listening back, and you continue walking down the stairs, and there's a little bit of a moment of peace. Just hope it doesn't shatter.
Would you say that?
It will.
If one thing is for certain in Zealand, it's that things don't stay the same. Thank you for joining us for another chapter. An eye for an eye. Where and what that cost was is still uncertain, or maybe that price has already been exacted. It's a mystery. One perhaps we'll maybe solve in time. And my god, it's so hard to talk to you seriously with that frickin' eye on.
Yeah, take that off.
But that is us. Thank you for joining us. I've been Rycon. This has been our team of survivors. You have all been awesome. And until next time, stay breathing.